Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
This is your before and after story. Instead of imagining a rewarding career in medical imaging, Southeastern College can actually take you there. Prepare for a career in ultrasound, radiology, and X-ray technology. With hands-on specialized training, simulations, and real-life experience with the latest imaging technology, you'll be ready to play a vital role on any healthcare team. Transform your life by helping others. Southeastern College. Your future is bright. Visit scc.edu to get started.
All right, so we've got another deep dive ready to go, and this one looks like it's all about the stock market.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a learner who's really interested in understanding what's going on in the markets these days.
Yeah, lots of terms here, and it's interesting just how much variety we're seeing this time. You know, we got everything from those big indexes like the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ.
Right. And then you've got terms like stock market, just the real basic overall concept markets, and then even some really specific things like stock market crash and
Trade war.
Yeah, trade war. So it looks like they're thinking about all the different pieces, you know, what makes up the market, what can happen in the market.
Yeah, and even where people go to learn about this stuff like Yahoo Finance and Market Watch.
Right, and even a specific stock ticker like PLTR stock. So thinking about individual companies too.
Absolutely. So what's our mission here? I mean, it looks like we've got this whole collection of terms that really paints a pretty good picture of the stock market landscape.
Yeah, I think what we want to do is help our learner connect the dots. You know, when you see these terms thrown around, it can be kind of overwhelming.
Sure.
So we want to break it down to make it clear what each of these things really means and how it all fits together. You know, kind of give them a shortcut to understanding the market.
I like it. A shortcut to being in the know. So, okay, let's start with the big three, the Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. These are the ones we hear about all the time, but what are they really telling us?
Well, they're kind of like the scorecard for the stock market. You know, you want to get a quick sense of how the market's doing overall. You look at these, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that one's focused on 30 really big, well-established companies.
For the blue chips?
Yeah, exactly. So it gives you a sense of how those kind of giants of industry are doing.
Right.
The S&P 500, that one's broader 500 of the largest U.S. companies.
So it's a bigger picture.
Yeah, much bigger picture. So a lot of people consider that one to be a better representation of the overall U.S. market. And then you've got the NASDAQ Composite, which is heavily weighted towards tech companies. So if you're interested in what's happening in the world of technology, the NASDAQ's going to be your go-to.
Absolutely. And speaking of technology, I see Tesla stock today on the list.
Yeah, well, Tesla's definitely a hot topic these days, so it's not surprising that our learner is interested in that one.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got the scorecard, but then we need to understand the playing field right.
Right, and that's where those broader terms come in stock markets. Those are the arenas where all this buying and selling is taking place.
Yeah, and the individual pieces are stocks, right?
Yeah.
Each company's stock represents a little slice of ownership in that company.
Exactly. And I think it's really smart that our learner included terms like pre-market trading and after-hours trading. It shows they're thinking beyond the regular trading day.
Yeah, because a lot can happen outside of those regular hours. News breaks, events unfold, and those can really impact how people are feeling about the market.
Absolutely, and that can lead to some pretty significant moves before the market even opens or after it closes.
Exactly. And then, of course, we have those big events that can really shake things up.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned stock market crash earlier.
Yeah, well, that's the one everyone wants to avoid. That's when prices plummet really rapidly.
Yeah, but it's important to understand what can trigger those kinds of events, right?
Sure.
And that's where terms like trade war and Trump news come in.
Right. Those are the kinds of things that can introduce a lot of uncertainty into the market. A trade war with all the tariffs and the back and forth between countries can really disrupt global trade.
Yeah.
And companies that rely on international business, well, they can get hit pretty hard.
Makes sense.
And news related to politics and especially economic policy that can also really move the market.
Absolutely. You know, one term that kind of jumps out to me here is the VIX. Now, I know that's the volatility index, but what does that really mean for our learner?
Well, a lot of people call it the fear gauge. And it's essentially a measure of how much uncertainty or anxiety there is in the market.
So when the VIX is high, it means investors are expecting big swings in prices.
Exactly. They're nervous.
Interesting.
And that nervousness can actually create more volatility.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
Right. Exactly.
And so where do people go to keep track of all this? Well, Yahoo Finance and MarketWatch are right there on the list.
Yeah, those are the go-to sources for a lot of people. They provide real-time information, news analysis, even commentary.
So you can really keep your finger on the pulse of the market.
Absolutely. And then one more term I want to touch on is FTSE 100. Now, that's the main stock index in the UK.
Right. So we're not just thinking about the U.S. market here.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The FTSE 100 is a reminder that global markets are all interconnected. What happens in one part of the world can definitely have ripple effects elsewhere.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground here. It's clear that our learner is taking a really comprehensive view of the stock market.
Yeah, they're thinking about those key indicators, the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ. They're thinking about the forces that can move the market, things like trade wars and news events.
And they're even thinking about the timing of trades with pre-market and after-hours trading.
Absolutely.
So we've given them a lot to chew on.
We have, and it all points to this desire to understand the big picture, how the market works, what makes it tick.
So now that we've taken this deep dive, what do you think? What should our learner explore further? What really sparked their interest?
Well, that's the great thing about the stock market. There's always something new to learn. Maybe they want to dig deeper into those indexes and really understand how those numbers are calculated.
Maybe they want to focus on the impact of news and sentiment on stock prices.
Or maybe they want to become a master of pre-market and after-hours trading.
There's a whole world out there for them to discover.
That's
the beauty of it.
It is.
All right, so to our learner, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.